Playoffs. March 2026, and it's still hockey weather outside. The sky ghostly gray, and the snow from overnight fluffed along treetops, on roofs, everything the same color top to bottom. And it's been really cold. I'm indoors playing Scrabble, my survival strategy this past winter, often a revelation, and today part of an even bigger game. I'm drawn to Scrabble. I don't follow hockey, but I was struck by a game many decades ago between Russia and Canada. The Russians circling around each other seamlessly as if listening to Swan Lake, while the Canadians, less at ease it seemed, gripped their sticks more tightly, bearing down to win. I got to appreciate hockey more in early 2022. After almost 2 years of unrelenting messaging about these unprecedented times, I stood for 5 hours on a highway overpass in blizzardy 20 below weather, joyfully waving a fellow's hockey stick, turned upside down with a Canadian flag stuck on top, while he warmed his hands on a cup of hot coffee. Tens of thousands of us across the country, many bearing flags, were cheering on truckers heading for Ottawa to protest government mandates. Every trucker honked for every one of us and for the country we thought was our home. Being retired, Scrabble keeps my mind occupied. You choose 7 tiles from a bag at random, each tile bearing a letter of the alphabet. Your brain acts as both filter and composer. Every word made must have a meaning, which can be torturous, and then to aim those words, like pucks, for the most lucrative spot on the board, I'm like a bull in an arena, a red flag waved in my face, my destiny a cursed spite that I feel obliged to set right. Scrabble itself means to claw or grope about frantically. There are rules, as in any game, a dictionary, even a cheat sheet. In the game I'm playing today, the word whooper, like whooping crane, whooping cough, war whoop, whoopee cushion, is defined as one who whoops, according to the Scrabble Player's 7th edition Merriam-Webster Dictionary from 2023. The word falls on a triple word score and also gives me 50 extra bonus points since it uses up all 7 tiles on my rack. I feel an inner whoop, but nothing compared to that day on the overpass. I'm able to line up the word hemo, related to blood, as in hemophilia, alongside the word ennoble, running downwards from its O, making 4 2-letter words: ho, ab, L, and me, all acceptable according to the cheat sheet. But Santa Claus's ho, ho, ho is not the rapper's ho. That's what makes Scrabble edgy. Slang is not allowed. In hockey, you learn to lift your stick just far enough up from the ice to not break a kneecap or start a brawl. With today's hate speech laws, a whole Scrabble board could erupt into chaos if slang were allowed. Slang can, after all, disguise ill intent. For example, fart, a word so immediate to the human experience, as is fartlet, a sneakier fart, is not in the 2023 Scrabble Dictionary. But flatus, meaning intestinal gas, is. Flatus is more zen, I suppose, like it doesn't exist if there's no one to hear it, whereas fart sounds as if it's meant to be made public, which in a world fixated on microaggressions could be taken as an insult. As could fag, as in fagged, which most busy people are these days. According to my Webster's 1968 dictionary, fag means to work hard and become very tired, or a boy in an English public school acting as a servant for another boy in a higher form or class. Faggot, also in Webster's 68, can mean either a bundle of sticks, twigs, or branches used for fuel, or a male homosexual. Somewhere along the line, in the UK, fag became slang for a cigarette. Then smoking fags was proven to cause cancer. Not wanting to stoke the flames, the Scrabble dictionary editors seem to be in the process of uprooting fag from the English language altogether. Calling a woman a hoe is still available, though, if, say, complaining to your boss about being tired hurts her feelings and gets you fired. You might think Santa Claus with his ho 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 is more traditional than rap and deserves to remain in the Scrabble dictionary, but Merry Christmas has been replaced by Happy Holidays, and consumers may find in the near future a non-inclusive Santa Claus redundant when it comes to their spending habits. Scrabble players are constantly grappling with contradictions and inconsistencies, unsure of which meanings have grabbed hold and are meant to stick, no matter how negative, and which ones are slang and thus forbidden. Where fag would have normally been is Fagin, meaning a person who instructs others in crime. Given my healthy curiosity, I wonder if COVID has found its way in this Scrabble 2023 edition. It has. Defined as a virus illness affecting breathing, it makes clear that the word is specific to respiration, even though the word referred to a lengthy list of every cold and flu-like symptom imaginable in its heyday, 2020, when the not-to-be-used for diagnosis PCR test diagnosed most people on the planet, including a papaya, a goat, and motor oil, as having COVID. I've been waiting for the guiding spirit of this game to reveal itself. Something that pulls the board together, like how a hockey team starts to move as one body, or how the central cards of a tarot reading set the stage for your life at some particular moment, or how the numbers of the I Ching's hexagram zero in to the core of your question. With the words poxed, being infected with a skin rash, and netty reminding me of the pot I have for a saline solution to break up mucus congestion, this game does appear to have taken on a health theme. The word eam, meaning uncle, to my surprise, has made room for another 7-letter word on the board, but having mostly vowels, I have to settle for bib, putting it elsewhere. The mysterious pattern of this game deepens when I hear a voice in my head whispering, Uncle BB's lobotomy. Rhymes come to me like that. All those hoes, L's, abs, and me's scattered in my brain like shattered ice. Alliteration does help to pull things together. Since I've already used up both B's, there is no possibility of making the word lobotomy. Being within the maximum 8 letters, the word did make it into the Scrabble dictionary, even though the procedure was banned in the 60s, probably thanks to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Killing off a personality and imprisoning the life force in a still functioning body as a medical intervention is dealt with very delicately in the 2023 edition, saying only that lobotomy is a type of surgical operation. Since there are so many other ways to lobotomize people these days, and a lobotomized Barbie hadn't been designed to normalize the procedure back in the mid-50s, I suppose it was bound to go out of fashion sooner than later. An innocent enough word I've put on the board like mots, defined as a witty saying, could be construed as hate speech, put into the context of a whole board. You can get overly concerned about being polite, but I sure wouldn't want to get arrested. The first thing they do is slap a mask on you to cancel your identity. Back when I was waving that hockey stick, parliamentary ministers were standing at attention behind their party leaders, all in masks, except for the one speaking at a microphone. They were all playing along according to the game plan, unless one of them veered off into unacceptable territory, like that president of Tanzania who published his country's findings about the PCR test and died a questionable death shortly after. In hockey, you're expected to take one for the team now and again, and if you're not wearing a helmet, you could indeed lose your front teeth. But if your team wins, you all share the trophy. There is a special whoop in sharing the glory of the cheering collective. Scrabble is a more solitary game, though, especially if you're playing against yourself, which is what I often do, like today, using 2 racks. It doesn't matter which one of me wins, yet somehow it does. Playing any game seems to involve a certain amount of favoritism, so I play it carefully enough for both of me, trying to be neutral. I'm looking for a word with anti in it, since these are 4 of the 7 letters that I have at this point. Antifa, defined as a person or group opposing fascism, made its way into the 2023 Scrabble Dictionary. I think of membership fees, a team shirt, a vaccine passport, something to advertise who your allies are. Back when ribbons were the rage, cancer patients wore pink ones as a sign of support, and a yellow ribbon tied around your car antenna meant solidarity for the American troops in Iraq. I'm not sure how people recognize their allies these days, except in shared violence. Vaxxed has made it into the 2023 Scrabble Dictionary, but not in Webster's 68. The intervention existed back then, but it took a Fauci to give it the status it has today. Even with all the serious yet unacknowledged adverse events, including death from the gene-editing mRNA shots, lumped in with all the other vaccines for liability protection, the word vaxxed still feels like slang to me. But it was a necessary word to make room for the more influential anti-vaxxer. Not within the 8-letter limit to qualify for the 2023 edition, but the intention is clear. By 2021, anti-vaxxer had already served its purpose in setting up teams for the international playoffs. The vaxxed racing way ahead according to worldwide data. It seems being anti-anything these days gives you an identity. I wander over to look for anti-Semitism, given it's such a hot word embedded in Western laws and constantly in the media. Of course, hyphenated and/or capitalized words indicating a proper noun are not allowed in the Scrabble dictionary, but Semitism, defined as one who favors Jewish interests, is included. The word Semite, a proper noun, is found in my 1968 Webster's, defined as a member of any of the peoples whose language is Semitic, including the Hebrews, Arabs, Assyrians, Phoenicians, Babylonians, etc. Mysterious how the interests of so many people with their long histories were deemed to be unfavorable and thus dropped out of the word Semitism. And then how anti and the Semitic language got hyphenated, then morphed into an ethnic group defined by who is not them, and now how the crime of hate speech gets pinned on anyone not favoring this ethnic group, whose language is Semitic, that is, everyone except the Hebrews. Given the fluid transformation of the word from a shared language to hatred for a specific group of people, the word anti-Semitism feels to me like a red cape, ushering along a certain outcome, as in the bull's inevitable destiny at the hand of a matador. To wield such a red cape must require eons of editorial training.